Welcome to XTV's news broadcast for June 10, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, PSU starts countdown on 21-day strike notice. Dismissed credit union employee ends up being hired in government unit. Minister responds to report he was part of controversial I-security company. And Budna gets bail and is fined for previous cyberbullying offenses against minister. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
Earn V-Bucks and get a chance to win a $10,000 home vacation with Benny's. Quality and savings.
In the heart of a thriving country, Atlantic Bank stands as more than just a financial institution. We are family and your steadfast partner in success throughout every step of your journey. Our unwavering focus remains on continually enhancing your experience through innovation. From the traditional banking services to cutting-edge online and mobile banking services, we make your life easy, convenient, and secure. We deeply value the relationships and trust placed in us over the years. This trust has enabled us to support and realize the dreams of our personal customers, be the driving force behind the development of micro, small, and medium businesses, and the preferred partner to our corporate clients. We are committed to serving our communities and making a positive impact. By prioritizing financial inclusion, we ensure that everyone has access to the financial tools and resources they need to thrive. We are your partner in progress, serving you with excellence and professionalism and providing real-life solutions. Today and for generations to come, let's continue building the future together.
Imagine getting rewards for your spending. Smart prepaid customers countrywide, it's time to level up with Smart Gains. Smart Gains are exclusive, limited-time offers sent straight to your phone. We're talking irresistible rewards you'll actually want: extra credit, bonus data, and exclusive perks, all tailored to you. Because it's Smart, we've always got your back. Don't miss out on rewards made just for you. Smart Gains, Smart Savings, Smart You. Smart, bringing people together.
Whether the job is big or small, every super handy dad needs the right tools. And at Brothers Habet and Habet, we have what you need. Enjoy super savings all June like 15% off all power tools and hand tools, 25% off track car batteries, Eureka Vats, and Pisaforte tiles, 25% off Penta Decon and discontinued colors, 30% off Valspar, and 40% off Dutch Boy paints. Plus, we're giving away $200 to 6 lucky super handy dads. Every $50 you spend gets you a chance to win. So this year, give Dad his best gift yet from Brother Isabet and Habet. Come in or reach out today. Happy Father's Day to all super handy dads.
In 2024, the Belizean diaspora took over Los Angeles with the first ever Belize Diaspora Summit, and you know the only thing that could be ever better than that is to do it again. Belize Diaspora Summit 2.0. This time it takes place in the state of Florida, Fort Lauderdale Board Convention Center, July 10th, the 11th, the 12th. Belizeans from the diaspora, Belizeans from home in Belize, join together. Let's do it again. 3 days, government services, clinics, business displays, kitty corner, pop-up trivias, panel discussions. There will be highlights for business mixers. There will be live performance of Racindio. Destiny Wagner is going to be there. There's going to be a live performance of Makobi. And you will have Immigration and Civil Rights Town Hall, special guest Kenneth Gibson, interview and book reading. There will be a wind-up reception, rhythms and rum. It's happening, Police Dashboard 2.0, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Power Convention Center. Don't miss it.
Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. Late Monday, the Public Service Union shared with its membership the result of the vote on the government's second counter-proposal on an 8.5% salary increase that public sector workers are seeking. According to the PSU, 94.3% rejected the offer and 91.9% support, declaring a trade dispute effective today, June 10. In a circular to membership, PSU President Dean Flowers notified that in accordance with their mandate, the union is invoking Section 11 of the Settlement of Disputes in Essential Services Act by communicating a declaration of a trade dispute to the Minister of Labor. Under 100 public officers who are members of the PSU took the walk this morning from May Gordon Park in Belmopand to hand deliver the notice to the Minister, Florencio Marin Jr. They were joined by Nadia Martin Calais, the national president of the Belize National Teachers Union. They had police escorting them, but police officers were also guarding the entrance to the compound at the ministry. Prior to entering to hand deliver the document, which begins a 21-day countdown toward a strike, PSU President Dean Flowers briefly addressed his members.
Comrades, thanks this morning for showing up and for showing out. When this union act, it is on your mandate. And today, you showed that you can put your feet where your mouth there. Today is merely symbolic. Symbolic for us to declare our trade dispute. And while today's action is sending a warning to the government, I want you all to know that any actions going forward must have a stated goal and objective. And so we will no longer continue this type of demonstration that does not bring effect on the government. And so for those of you who work in the strategic departments, we will be calling on you as early as next week to start bringing down the pain on this administration. And while we will not be advocating for any violence, we need to ensure that the disruption that we can create and that we will create if we're not listened to, it will reach the ears of the Prime Minister and his team who are taking us for kuno while they continue to benefit from our labor.
The letter outlines events that have led to an impasse in the negotiations between the government of Belize and the PSU. So what happens now?
The minister now must look at that submission and determine whether he views our dispute as legitimate. I'm pretty quite sure he's fully aware of the dispute. During that 21 days, we have all right to continue to advocate for fair salaries and for the government to return to the negotiation table, which we will do. We know that the minister will write back requesting that we consider not engaging in any industrial action that could aggravate the situation. But when you're dealing with a neoliberal government, a government that is capital driven, a government that reduces public sector workers to $5 an hour, a government that believes that when they do raise it to $6, we're supposed to holler hooray, when in fact none of them can survive on those salaries. Amen. A government that is investing millions of dollars as we speak in vehicles. They came into power and said we're not to spend no lot of money per vehicle. Now we have luxury F-150 pickup, luxury Tacomas, brother. The neighbors behind me just got about 3 brand new vehicles. Yesterday, and I have to congratulate the new minister and the new CEO in the Ministry of Transport. I hear one payment get made yesterday for your new vehicle. Congratulations, my buddy. We hope you will do a damn excellent job to ensure that when this PPP rolls out, and I want to caution the Belizean people, pay attention to this bus PPP business, because this will another come up. This will be another come up. If the bus they're not suitable for a ride pan now, that's what we am pay for. What exactly will we be paying for if you are saying to us these buses are not suitable for us? So we have to be very careful on the valuation and how that exercise takes unfolds.
Flowers says their membership will decide what happens after the minister responds. The Ministry of Economic Transformation, formerly Economic Development, has responded to the report Monday that the former Bella Vista branch manager of the Toledo Teachers Credit Union, TTCU, who was dismissed, ended up being hired in that ministry. The general manager of the TTCU, Leopold Romero, told Creme News XTV late yesterday that Jorge Rodriguez was dismissed around June 2024, along with 2 employees from the same branch after the credit union's internal auditor discovered that they were involved in a scheme of using the credit union's name to get credit from construction supply companies to build for themselves. The credit union's suspicion was raised because it was not engaged in any construction at the time. In the course of the investigation that followed, Romero says they discovered that the employees at the branch had also taken out fraudulent loans on behalf of at least 28 members' accounts to the tune of over $400,000. 5 months after his dismissal in November, Rodriguez was interviewing for a position at the ministry in their Global Fund Implementation Unit. Late yesterday, the CEO in that ministry, Carlos Paul, who was acting CEO at the time, told Creme News XTV that the post was publicly advertised and the applicants were then shortlisted based on the terms of reference. He noted that of the 4 interviewees, Rodriguez obtained the highest score. The recommendation was then submitted to the Ministry of Finance and the Contractor General for him to be hired as the financial administrator for the unit for a 1-year period under contract. Paul further explained that there were 6 people on the interview panel, including a specialist who served as the eyes of the Global Fund in Belize. Paul contends that the recruitment process was in alignment with the government's procurement procedures, which had been approved by the Global Fund. When we asked CEO Paul if the panel had taken into consideration Rodriguez's dismissal from his previous job, Paul told us he did not sit on the panel, so he was unaware if any recommendations were requested, but he believes that should have been the case. In its release today, the ministry stated that the procurement process featured an, quote, independent evaluation committee comprised of designated technical personnel and oversight bodies in accordance with approved guidelines, end quote. For his part, Rodriguez told 7 News that he has not received any formal allegations from the credit union or any competent authority, and that he left the credit union on amicable terms. However, he also notes that he is bound by a confidentiality agreement with TTCU and, as such, sharing any information publicly could potentially be used against him. He did admit at the outset that he cannot grant any interviews because the matter involves sensitive and ongoing legal considerations. As to the position in the ministry, he affirms that he received no assistance or recommendation from any government official during the process and that he was hired through a competitive and transparent process involving interviews with multiple stakeholders from various sectors. The other panelists for the interviews were the finance officer from the National Health Insurance, the finance officer from the Ministry of Economic Development, a representative from the Ministry of Finance, another from the National AIDS Commission, and a representative from the Ministry of the Public Service. Minister of Health Kevin Bernard has responded to reporting which showed that he was a co-owner of iSecurity at its formation in March 2021. The other co-owners were Ian Cowell, former Orange Walk Town Councillor, during Bernard's tenure, and then Public Utilities CEO Jose Urbina. Bernard was not only Cowell's boss at the town council, he was also the minister responsible for sports at a time when Cowell served as director of the National Sports Council. iSecurity is one of 2 companies which have been the limelight recently for having received questionable lucrative contracts from the Belize Airports Authority, BAA. The contracts have since been suspended after the new BAA board determined that, quote, the proper procedures may not have been observed, end quote, in their reward. Bernard, in his release today, states that in August 2022, he lawfully divested all his shares in the company and transferred them to Ian Cowell. He provides as proof the share transfer instrument as registered at the Belize Companies and Corporate Affairs Registry. The minister states, quote, since that time, I have had no involvement in the management, operations, or contractual dealings of iSecurity Limited, end quote. He adds that he had no involvement in the award of the airport's security contracts. He then writes, quote, as a minister of government, I hold transparency, accountability, and public trust as paramount. It is therefore important that I correct this misleading narrative, which has the potential to unjustly harm my reputation and standing, end quote. On Monday, the Commissioner of Police told the media that the president of the Public Service Union is being investigated as part of a high-profile case involving public officers. He provided no more details, and Flowers told us the allegation may well end up in court. In Belmopan today, he was asked what's behind it all.
I want to be very careful because the compol, as I stated, does not have an iota of proof linking 65110 or 6153110 to any investigation since the Declaration of Self-Government since 1964. And as I stated, he, in his anger and in his emotion and in his failure to appreciate that what I was doing was simply saying to him, your strategy must be much more effective. You cannot govern and rule based on fear, which is what, in my view, the police department attempted to do in Tangriga, instill fear. It is no secret that the state has weaponized legislation against its citizens, primarily black men, primarily black men. It is no secret that an administration that is being accused of being a racist administration is now weaponizing the Constitution retroactively against black men. And I said I will not stand for that, because what stops them from weaponizing the law against union leaders? What stops them from doing that? What stops them from declaring Maya Mopan or Salvapan or anywhere any union leader reside, and so we can mobilize? And so we need to pay attention, and that was what I was calling out. His ego was bruised, and it's not about me and him, it's about the teachers and public officers, which includes him. So I believe he understands and should come to understand that you not bite the hand and feed your brother. You not bite the hand and feed your brother. This union has been protecting you from day one. This union has been championing natural justice and due process. And now that you're in a position to ensure that natural justice and due process is netted out to the citizen, please do it right. And so let's see where his comments go, but I definitely do not take them lightly, and I believe he will have to respond and give account for those comments.
There are also reports that a union leader was detained as a part of a large investigation with the customs and drug incident that happened earlier. Was that you?
I didn't see any such report. And so I do not wish to comment on something that I'm not aware of. To the best of my knowledge, no union leader was detained. None can and will be detained. And I can say to you, the investigating officers, it would be prudent for them to properly brief the commissioner and for the commissioner to give a press conference to express to this nation where they are with that. But I will say this, my brother. I've walked a straight road, especially when I took up this leadership. And I will not allow anybody to try to throw low blows, shade on my character. I will not allow it. It will not work with Dean Flowers. Dean Flowers is a man of his word. That's all I got, my word. And when I choose to lead people and defend their rights and the rights of their children, because what we do out here are fighting for good governance, I will not compromise myself. And so, as I stated, I know that this matter will be drawn out and he will have to respond. But I encourage him to be very careful, because his investigating officers are on record disassociating whatever number he is talking about.
After the break, PSU president says BPO workers are being taken advantage of, and new evidence presented in triple ram the race murder. Bail denied for Elmer Nah. Stay with us.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
Desde pequeñas mejoras en casa hasta trabajos industriales, Sherwin-Williams tiene la pintura perfecta para cada proyecto. Confiada por los profesionales y diseñada para ofrecer belleza y durabilidad, nuestras pinturas y recubrimientos garantizan un trabajo impecable. Disponible en Design Depot y a través de nuestros distribuidores autorizados en Orange Rock y Corrozal, Sherwin-Williams, su marca de confianza en pintura.
Design Depot. Todo en un solo lugar.
Whether you are a busy person or stuck in traffic or having an adverse or very demanding circumstance, tension builds up, causing you to be stressed out. Stress attacks everyone, anytime, any age. And stress is a killer. Palm City? It's best to be alive than dead. So visit Freetown Drugstore to get options to relieve stress and to relax your mind.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you today?
I'm so stressed out.
Okay, I'm saying I help you right now. When I this daily, for 10 days, I am good after that, okay?
Okay.
Freetown Drugstore, 28 Freetown Road, where you are better off alive than dead. Freetown Drugstore, telephone 223-2876.
Self-styled reporter Joseph Budna has been ordered to pay a fine of $4,800 after pleading guilty today to 2 counts of using a computer system to disseminate false information with the intent to cause another person embarrassment or public ridicule. This is in relation to complaints filed in January 2024 by Minister of State Ramon Cervantes. Budna appeared before Orange Walk Magistrate Charmaine Gillett McCoy. Before the magistrate handed down her sentence, Budna was allowed to address the court. He pleaded for leniency, stating that he is the sole breadwinner for his elderly mother, and also apologized to Cervantes, saying it was never his intention to cause him any embarrassment. The magistrate took into consideration that this was Budna's first conviction for such an offense. He is to pay the first sum of $2,300 by December 31, 2025, and the remaining $2,500 by January 31, 2026, or in default, he will spend 1 year in prison. The magistrate also addressed the bail application in relation to Budna's latest charge under the cyberbullying laws. This time around, he was offered bail of $3,000. Conditions include that he must not be arrested for any other offense and is not allowed to discuss the details of the case on any social media platform. He has also been ordered to report to the Orange Walk Police Station every Monday and Friday. He is set to reappear in court on August 15. Public Service Union President Dean Flowers recently revealed that employees in the BPO sector have been reaching out to the union for advice and guidance on how to address violations that they are enduring. Flowers lamented that the public sector workers are not unionized, while also pointing to the failings of the Labor Department in protecting the rights of workers.
That workforce is not organized and they're being taken advantage of. And yes, they have been reaching out to the Public Service Union for guidance in terms of how do I address my days that they're taking away from me? How do I address the issue of my overtime for which I may not be collecting? How do I address being placed on mandatory leave without pay? Without pay. Now, if an employee is putting you off on mandatory leave and it is not on a disciplinary charge, then I cannot understand how they can put you off on mandatory leave without pay. And this is all because of a government that is prostituting its human resources and not looking after their best interests. They've allowed these BPOs to register under, I believe, DPAs is what they refer to them, and the rules kind of seems the rules that exist or the laws that exist to us here in Belize, they seem to be exempt from it. And so the abuse that is being alleged in several of these BPOs, they look into it. I always like to say the Labor Department is failing the workers of Belize. The Labor Department, under the Labor Act, has a duty and an obligation to go into these workplaces to sensitize, educate, and organize workers, teach workers how to organize. That's part of their responsibility. But they abdicate that responsibility because the Labor Department is politicized.
He called for there to be a labor court so that workers' complaints can be properly ventilated. A voir dire or trial within a trial was to start in the triple ram the race murder case for former police corporal Elmer Na. However, the matter was adjourned at the High Court on request from the defense attorney Lyndon Jones. After the prosecution entered new evidence, Jones said they did not have sufficient time to review. The new evidence includes a statement from the sister of Vivian Ram the Race on May 27 that speaks to a video captured from a rear camera at the Ram the Race home at the time of the murders back in December 2022. This would be different from the widely circulated video captured from the front camera. Jones said that they had no knowledge of the rear camera video. The defense attorney also requested bail for Na based on the delays in the trial. However, Justice Nigel Pilgrim denied the application. The matter has been adjourned until June 18. On Monday morning at Old Belize, police instructors from around the country started a 4-day training workshop on the Belize Police Department's updated mental health training manual, which has not been updated since it was developed in 2007. The focus is on sharing knowledge so that police officers in the field are able to safely de-escalate incidents and intervene adequately when called upon. The workshop is supported by PAHO, who believes the instructors are learning about de-escalation techniques, how to approach patients and symptoms, among others. However, Nurse Yvette Quintanilla, the mental health coordinator in the Ministry of Health's Mental Health Unit, reported that one of the most important changes in the manual has to do with the mental health of the very officers themselves.
As we move along, situations change. We are looking more at the human rights of people. We have also moved away from placing patients in institutions, and we work from a community type based of service. So the revised manual will consist of components in teaching the police officers on learning about the different mental health disorders, the signs and the symptoms, how they, as they conduct their daily duties out there on the streets, interacting with people, how they can be able to recognize when someone is suffering from a mental disorder, how they should be approaching the persons with a mental disorder, and also de-escalating skills in order for them to be able to de-escalate situations rather than for situations to become confrontational, and eventually sometimes it leads to the loss of life. So mainly that is what the training will consist of. And we have a new component in the manual on self-care, because we are teaching them that it is important for them to be mentally well. They do face a lot of different situations on a daily basis. They're responding to crimes, murders, different things that does affect their mental wellness. And therefore, it is important for them to be mentally well before they can be able to provide a service.
Karen Roberts is the PAHO Belize Advisor for Communicable Diseases and Mental Health.
Because we've had a lot of challenging kinds of reports, that we would see in the media about police trying to make interventions and de-escalate crisis. Well, actually, we don't want the police to fulfill the roles of the people in the medical field, and that's why I made reference to a multidisciplinary team, because in a multidisciplinary team, we have different people doing different things. We know that the main role of the police is law enforcement, law and order. And when we think about intervening in crises, remember that people with mental health conditions, these are people who are ill. And sometimes the tendency is to feel that they know exactly what they're doing, but because of the nature of their condition, many times they themselves, they might see the police as the enemy and so on. And as a result, we think that if police officers can understand the disease progression and what it is that's responsible for them behaving and acting in certain ways, then it helps them to be able to better intervene. And we don't want that the intervention first to be that of force, but police officers should be able to recognize certain signs and so on. They're not making a diagnosis, but at least they're able to recognize when something is wrong. And as a result, the intervention that they will make will not be an intervention like, for instance, somebody who just chooses to do something that's against the law. And that is what we want police officers to be knowledgeable of and to be able to develop the skills, what to say. We know that in a crisis, it depends on what you say, sometimes can escalate rather than de-escalate. And yes, and how you say it and how you actually intervene and so on.
Commissioner of Police Dr. Richard Rosado welcomed the training for his officers.
Revision is more than just procedural adjustment. It's a recognition that we are moving towards a more progressive department, a department that requires a more balanced approach that balance public safety and human dignity. The manual recognized that there is a need for the police department to develop the discernment to recognize a crisis, a mental health crisis. It will develop their skills to safely de-escalate a situation, and it also develop that or give them that ability to be able to connect or refer those mental health patients to the necessary mental health care partners.
Apart from an updated manual, the Unsoundness of Mind Act is being revised to clearly establish the roles of police officers and mental health professionals in the field. The hope is to have the change enacted by the end of the year. After the break, PSU president proposes that tax be levied on proceeds of sales by land speculators. Stay tuned.
Imagine getting rewards for your spending. Smart prepaid customers countrywide, it's time to level up with Smart Gains. Smart Gains are exclusive, limited time offers sent straight to your phone. We're talking irresistible rewards. You'll actually want extra credit, bonus data, and exclusive perks, all tailored to you. Because at Smart, we've always got your back. Don't miss out on rewards made just for you. Smart Gains, Smart Savings, Smart You. Smart, bringing people together.
In the heart of a thriving country, Atlantic Bank stands as more than just a financial institution. We are family and your steadfast partner in success throughout every step of your journey. Our unwavering focus remains on continually enhancing your experience through innovation. From the traditional banking services to cutting-edge online and mobile banking services, we make your life easy, convenient, and secure. We deeply value the relationships and trust placed in us over the years. This trust has enabled us to support and realize the dreams of our personal customers, be the driving force behind the development of micro, small, and medium businesses, and the preferred partner to our corporate clients. We are committed to serving our communities and making a positive impact. By prioritizing financial inclusion, we ensure that everyone has access to the financial tools and resources they need to thrive. We are your partner in progress, serving you with excellence and professionalism and providing real-life solutions. Today and for generations to come, let's continue building the future together.
Earn V-Bucks and get a chance to win a $10,000 homecation with Benny's. Quality and savings.
In 2024, the Belizean diaspora took over Los Angeles with the first ever Belize Diaspora Summit, and you know the only thing that could be ever better than that is to do it again. Belize Diaspora Summit 2.0. This time it takes place in the state of Florida, Fort Lauderdale Board Convention Center, July 10th, the 11th, the 12th. Belizeans from the diaspora, Belizeans from home in Belize, join together. Let's do it again. 3 days, government services, clinics, business displays, kitty corner, pop-up trivias, panel discussions. There will be highlights for business mixers. There will be a live performance of Racindio. Destiny Wasney is going to be there. There's going to be a live performance of Makobi. And you will have Immigration and Civil Rights Town Hall, special guest Kenneth Gibson, interview and book reading. There will be a wind-up reception, rhythms and rum. It's happening, Belize Diaspora 2.0, Florida, Fort Lauderdale Board Convention Center. Don't miss it.
For years now, the unions which represent the public sector workers have engaged the government to find ways to increase revenue and reduce costs within the public service. PSU President Dean Flowers has called on the government to address land transactions by speculators who are flipping property that has been cheaply purchased. He suggests a capital gains tax.
Capital gain tax is a tax that is levied on the returns or the proceeds of a sale. So I would have spoken on the issue of capital gains that these land speculators are making. And these land speculators, especially these foreigners, because let's not fool ourselves. The people who they exploit with natural resources, the vast majority are foreigners. And what is the Belizean people who have been robbed of these natural resources getting? So we're saying we need to apply a capital gains tax on all these land sales, especially where the speculators are concerned. You cannot get public land for free and for a little bit and nothing. Look at all these massive developments that has occurred. You know how much them people pay for their land? Hardly anything. And these people have gotten hundreds of thousands of acres and they're just flipping it. So if they're just going to flip it, the government needs to tax it. And it can't be stamp duty, Marisol. It has to be on the proceeds of those sales. And when you're applying capital gains, it has to be upwards of 50% because you didn't pay hardly anything for it. Right? So that is in essence what we're saying. It's similar to if your grandmother, in some countries, if your grandmother would grant you their entire estate free of cost, the state might want to charge you a capital gain tax if you want to dispose of that, or something to that effect.
This year's National Agriculture and Trade Show saw 34,042 visitors, a reduction of some 6,000 people compared to 2024. It is believed that the heat, as well as a couple events happening the same weekend, including a Benque Fiesta and 2 major concerts, also contributed to reduce visitation at the grounds. Apart from the thousands of Belizeans who flocked to Belmopan for the national event, from all parts of the country, regional delegates and invited guests also attended the fair. The ministry has also informed that there were no major incidents reported at the grounds, and it has expressed its gratitude to the police and other security officials. 8 confiscated motorcycles that were parked behind the police station in Independence Village, Stan Creek, went up in flames this morning at around 10:30. Fortunately, the building did not sustain any damages. The cycles are all unclaimed, and some are believed to have been stolen. ASP Stacy Smith provided details.
The police officers observed that there was a high-tension wire that became undone and would have affected approximately 8 motorcycles that were parked on the compound, and this resulted in a fire being caused. The fire service personnel were summoned and they responded. However, because of the high tension wire, they had to await the arrival of BL personnel. The BL personnel arrived and the fire was subsequently contained, and the extent of the damages are limited to the said 8 motorcycles. The property, the building, was not affected by the fire.
The value of the motorcycles has not been ascertained as yet. And Belize City Mayor Bernard Wagner first spoke about a floating boardwalk in 2024. He commented that it was a project paper he met, but which was not being acted upon. In February of this year, he reported to the Council Caucus that at a recent meeting with Blue 21, which is assisting with the feasibility study, they estimated that the project would cost some 3.8 million euros. The project will be financed by the Global Covenant of Mayors, GCOM, under their Bankable Cities Climate Projects initiative that has support from Bloomberg Philanthropies and the European Union. According to Mayor Wagner, the project would not feature piles. Instead, it would be anchored to float and would hold a few small stalls. According to the mayor, the project should be completed by the end of 2026. And with that, we've come to the end of our newscast. The repeat can be viewed on the station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join us again tomorrow for another news broadcast. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.